Hello students, in the previous class we have studied about the nucleophilic addition reactions. So today we will study about the other reactions of aldehydes and ketones. So let us start with reduction. We will study reduction first. So when aldehydes they are reduced, they form primary alcohols, right? Whereas when ketones are reduced, they form secondary alcohols. Okay, so aldehydes they form primary alcohol, whereas ketones form secondary alcohol on reduction. Now the reducing agents which we use, it may be sodium borohydride. This reducing agent is a precise reducing agent which is used for the reduction of aldehydes and ketones only. Carboxylic acid cannot be reduced by using sodium borohydride. We can also use lithium aluminium hydride, also used for the reduction of carboxylic acid, or we can also do catalytic hydrogenation. We can also do catalytic hydrogenation, means hydrogenation in the presence of platinum, palladium or nickel. So any one of them we can use as a reducing agent for aldehydes as well as for the ketones. So let us study the reaction. So let us first study the reduction of aldehydes. When aldehydes they are reduced, they form, as I have told you, primary alcohol, right? You can write it as in this form. So primary alcohols are formed. Let us take example. Suppose we have ethanol. When we reduce this, you can take any of the catalyst, it is reduced to ethanol. So primary alcohol is formed when aldehydes are reduced. Now what happens when ketones are reduced? So when ketones are reduced, say we have here propanol, right? So when it will be reduced, it will form secondary alcohol. You can have the structure like that. So secondary alcohol is formed. What is this compound? Propane-2-ol. So when ketones are reduced, we get secondary alcohol, isn't it? You can take any other example also. Suppose you have, this is propanol or acetone, commonly known as acetone. This is butanol. Similarly, when it is reduced, we get butane-2-ol. This is butane-2-ol. So when aldehydes are reduced, we get primary alcohol, and when ketones are reduced, we get secondary alcohol. Other than that, when these aldehydes and ketones are reduced under special conditions, they also give hydrocarbons. So let us write those reactions, we'll study those reactions. So the first one is Clemenson's reduction. It's also reduction reaction. Clemenson's reduction. In Clemenson's reduction, the aldehydes and ketones first I will write for aldehyde. They are reduced in the presence of zinc amalgam and hydrochloric acid. Amalgam is any alloy of metal with mercury. Any metal combined with mercury, it forms an amalgam. So this reduction is done in the presence of zinc amalgam and hydrochloric acid. So the carbonyl group, it is reduced to CH2 group, right? Hence hydrocarbon will be formed. We require 4H here, right? So hydrocarbon will be formed. Here H is there, so keep it H, so it will become RCH3. So let us have an example. Suppose we have here ethanol. We reduce it using zinc amalgam and hydrochloric acid. So we will have here CH3, that is ethane, right? So ethanol is reduced to ethane. This CO group, that is the carbonyl group, it is reduced to the CH2 group. So CH2 plus H becomes CH3, right? So this is how the carbonyl compounds are reduced to hydrocarbons. If suppose here any ketone is there, say we have propanone, when it is reduced using zinc amalgam and hydrochloric acid, we will get propane. Corresponding alkane will be formed. If you are taking butanol, butane will be formed. Pentanol, pentane will be formed. Or butanone, butane will be formed, right? So whatever the aldehyde and ketone you are taking, the corresponding alkane will be formed in Jamieson reduction, right? The carbonyl compounds are reduced in the presence of zinc amalgam and HCl. The second reduction, where again the carbonyl compounds are reduced due to the hydrocarbon, it is Wolff-Kishner reduction. Wolff-Kishner's reduction. Now here students, the carbonyl compound, it is reduced by using hydrazine. Right, now you know that when the carbonyl compounds, they are treated with hydrazine, we get first a hydrazone, C double bond and NH2. This is hydrazone, water will be removed. So first of all we get hydrazone. Now this hydrazone, it is treated with alkali, maybe sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, in the presence of ethylene glycol. Then we get here hydrocarbon and nitrogen is removed, right? So the carbonyl group is converted to the hydrocarbon. So that is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction. Understood? So let us take an example. Suppose we have here propanol. We reacted with hydrazine. So first of all we will get propanone hydrazone. Which when treated with an alkali in the presence of ethylene glycol, then propane, corresponding alkane will be formed and nitrogen will be relieved, right? So this is how the ketone will be converted to your alkane, right? So that is known as Wolff-Kishner reduction. Got it? Now the next reactions which we will study is oxidation. You have studied nucleophilic addition reaction. Now next we will study oxidation. Next we will study about the oxidation. Now aldehydes, they can be oxidized to carboxylic acids containing same number of hydrogen, containing same number of carbon, right? The oxidizing agents which we use, we can use nitric acid, we can use potassium permanganate, or we can use potassium dichromate, right? Also we can use mild oxidizing agents like Tollens reagent, Fehling solution, or Bandix solution. So any of these oxidizing agents can be used in case of aldehyde, and the aldehydes will be oxidized to corresponding carboxylic acid containing same number of carbon. They are more reactive than ketones, so they can be reduced by using mild oxidizing agents also. Whereas ketones, in the case of ketones, the oxidation take place and we get the carboxylic acid, but here carbon bond carbon is also broken, this CC bond is also broken, and the carboxylic acid formed, it contains lesser number of carbon, right? And it can be oxidized only in the presence of strong oxidizing agents such as potassium permanganate or potassium dichromate, right? It cannot be oxidized by using Tollens, Fehling or Bandix solution. So let us study the reactions one by one. So first for aldehydes when they are oxidized, we are using here alkaline potassium permanganate. So RCOH, that is carboxylic acid, will be formed containing same number of carbon atom, right? If here one carbon is there, then here also one carbon, if here two carbon, then here also two carbon. Let us have example such as if we have ethanol and we oxidize it using alkaline potassium permanganate, we will get here ethanoic acid. Ethanol will provide you ethanoic acid, same number of carbons, two are taken in the reactant and two are present in the product, right? So that is aldehyde which can be oxidized. Now I told you, as I have told you, that it can be oxidized by using mild oxidizing agents also. So we will study the reaction with Tollens reagent. So what is Tollens reagent? Tollens reagent is ammoniacal silver nitrate. Ammoniacal silver nitrate. Right. So what happens here, that aldehydes, when they are treated with ammoniacal silver nitrate, then they form a silver mirror, right? A silver mirror is formed, and this reaction, it is not given by the ketones, therefore it is also used as a distinguishing test between aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes will respond to this test, but ketones will not respond to this test. So this will be used as a distinguishing test. Now let us write the reaction when aldehydes. Then we prepare this Tollens reagent. We have to prepare the Tollens reagent freshly. We have to take freshly prepared Tollens reagent, right? So it is a combination of diamine, silver and hydroxide ions. Right, it is a combination of diamine, silver and hydroxide ions. So when this is Tollens reagent and when this is Tollens reagent, right, and when it reacts with aldehyde, we get carboxylate ion, and this silver ion, it get precipitated. This silver mirror, it is formed on the inner side of the test tube, right, and by seeing it we can identify that the given compound is aldehyde. Let us balance this, put 2 here and 3 here, right. So when aldehydes react with Tollens reagent, they form silver mirror on the inner side of the test tube, which shows that the given compound is an aldehyde. The aldehyde which is formed here, it is oxidized to form a carboxylate ion. So that is the reaction. Suppose you have ethanol here. When it is treated with Tollens reagent, it will give you ethanoate ion. Silver mirror will be precipitated along with ammonia and water, right. So this is how the aldehydes react with Tollens reagent to give you silver mirror, or it may be black, gray or black precipitate. Similarly, the oxidation of aldehyde is also shown with Fehling solution. Now what is Fehling solution? Fehling solution, it is a mixture of two solutions, that is Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B. Fehling solution A is aqueous copper sulfate, whereas Fehling solution B is sodium or potassium salt of tartaric acid, right. So it is sodium potassium salt of tartaric acid, right. It is also known as Rochelle salt. Sodium potassium salt of tartaric acid, which is also known as Rochelle salt. This is blue in color and this is colorless. So when you mix both of them, the resulting solution is Fehling solution. Got it? When you mix both of them, the resulting solution is Fehling solution, and it contains cupric ion and hydroxyl ion. Got it? So let us write the reaction. When aldehydes, they react with Fehling solution. These ions are coming from Fehling solution. The aldehyde is oxidized to give you carboxylate ion, whereas cupric ion is reduced to give you cuprous ions. Means here cuprous oxide will be formed. Cuprous oxide will be formed, and it is in the form of red precipitate. So if red precipitate is formed, you identify that the given compound is an aldehyde. So aldehydes, they also react with Fehling solution to give carboxylate ion, then cuprous oxide, red precipitate is formed, and this is also a distinguishing test between aldehydes and ketones. Right. Now instead of Fehling solution, we can also use Bandyk solution here. This Bandyk solution, it is similar to the Fehling solution. Bandyk solution A is also aqueous copper sulfate, but Bandyk solution B is sodium potassium salt of citric acid. Instead of tartaric acid, we will take citric acid, right? But the reactions will be same as that of Fehling solution. So this is the oxidation of aldehydes with Tollens reagent and Fehling solution. Now next we will study the oxidation of ketones. Now ketones, as I have told you, COR, they are oxidized by using strong oxidizing agents only. Right? They will not reduce Tollens reagent or Fehling solution, or they are not oxidized by these mild oxidizing agents. They will be oxidized by strong oxidizing agents only, and they will be oxidized to give you the carboxylic acids which will contain lesser number of carbon atoms. Right? If one is R and other is R dash, then we will get 2 carboxylic acids corresponding to the both alkyl groups. Right? Let us have an example. Suppose we have here butanol, and when it is oxidized, we will get here, see, CC bond will also be broken. I have told now that in ketones CC bond is broken. So here CC bond will be broken and we will get here 2 moles of ethanoic acid. Right, here we require 3O. Are you getting this? See, if suppose there is an unsymmetrical ketone, suppose there is this butanone also, this is butane 2O. This is ethanoic acid. Right, so here you can see that on one side of this carbonyl group there is only one carbon containing alkyl group, on the other side there is 2 carbon containing alkyl group. So in that case the bond will be broken to obey the Popoff's rule. So what is Popoff's rule? That when there is an unsymmetrical ketone, the carbonyl group will go with the lesser number of carbon atom, with the alkyl group containing lesser number of carbon atom. So since here only one carbon containing alkyl group is there, therefore this carbonyl group will go along with this alkyl group. Right? When there is an unsymmetrical ketone, the carbonyl group goes with lesser number of carbon atom, and this rule is known as Popoff's rule. Right? So Popoff's rule will be followed. Understood? Now next we will study one more oxidation reaction, and that is known as haloform reaction, and that is also a very important reaction of aldehydes and ketones. We will study haloform reaction. Now this haloform reaction, it is only given by methylated aldehydes and ketones. Means which contain this methyl group next to the carbonyl group. Okay, the compounds which contain this methyl group next to the carbonyl group will only give this haloform reaction, or the compounds which contain alcoholic group and next to the alcoholic group there is a methyl group, because you know that on oxidation this will also form the same group. Right? So any one of these groups should be present to give the haloform reaction. Understood? Now what is the reaction? In this reaction, this compound, that is your carbonyl compound, it is treated with halogen in alkaline medium. Right? So when it is treated with halogen in alkaline medium, it will form carboxylic acid and haloform will be formed. Right? When the reaction is carried out with iodine, then haloform formed will be iodoform, and the reaction is known as iodoform reaction. Got it? This iodoform is yellow colored precipitate. so it can be easily identified. Hence this reaction, it can be used as a distinguishing test to identify that the compound containing this methyl carbonyl group. If it is forming the yellow precipitate, it means it contains this group. So that is a distinguishing test for the compounds containing methylated carbonyl group. So let us have a look on the reaction. Suppose we have, so let us have a look on the reaction. Say suppose we have acetone. Now you see that this acetone contains methyl group next to the carbonyl group. So this is a methylated ketone, right? When it reacts with iodine. So students, here you remember that this methyl group, which is, I will take this methyl group, you can take any because it is a symmetrical ketone. So when there is a methyl group next to the carbonyl group, and when you react it with halogen, this group, that is the methyl group, it will be halogenated, right? So here you will get Ci3 and 3Hi will be removed. Got it? This is known as iodide. Okay, after which this compound, it will react with alkali, sodium hydroxide. So how it will react? See, ONA will go here and H will go here. So you will get CH3COONA plus CHI3. This is iodoform, and this is in the form of yellow precipitate, right? Now here only you see that you have taken this ketone. In this ketone, this much group is oxidized to form the carboxylic group. This methyl group, which is important to condition of the haloform reaction, this is only forming the haloform. Therefore the reaction will be given by only those compounds which contain this methyl group. So iodoform will be formed, right? And then this 3Hi, which is formed here, it will further react with NaOH to give you sodium iodide and 3 molecule of water. You can have a net reaction, that when acetone reacts with 3I2 plus 4 NaOH, this will cancel out, this will cancel out. You will get sodium salt of carboxylic acid, iodoform, sodium iodide and water. Got it? So this is how the aldehyde or ketone will be oxidized to form sodium salt of carboxylic acid, which will contain one carbon less. The carbon which is in the form of this methyl group, it will be removed in the form of haloform, right? So that is your haloform reaction. Now in your books, the haloform reaction is given in single step, right? So don't get confused. If sometimes in your exam they also give the reaction in the form of RCOCH3 plus reacts with NaOH. So when NaOH and halogen react, it will form this sodium hypohalite. So the reaction can be taken with the help of sodium hypohalite also, and the product formed will be RCOONA plus CHX3. We need to balance this reaction. Here we require 3 moles. 3 moles will be formed. Here also we require 3 moles. Right? Then this will be formed. So these are the same reaction. You can write in 3 step. You can write in single step, or you can write in this form. So all are the form of the haloform reaction. Understood? So that is about the haloform reaction. Next we will study the other type of reactions, that is the reaction due to alpha hydrogen in the next class. Till then, goodbye.